Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to be continuing on with the Typescript line 75, and we're going to be doing valid parentheses. So in this problem, you're given a string containing the characters of parentheses, and you want to determine if the string is valid. And if the string is valid, if the open brackets are closed by the same type of brackets, open brackets are closed in the same correct order, and every bracket has a corresponding open bracket. So this problem is pretty straightforward. Essentially, what you want to check is every time you have a closed bracket, you want to make sure that the last open bracket matches that closed bracket, and you want to make sure that the count of the open and closed parentheses is the same. So for example, here, the count of the open and closed parentheses is the same, and whenever you encounter an open or a closed bracket, you just need to check, was my previous open bracket that I encountered the same as this closed bracket, right? The reverse of it. So this is true, this is also true, and we can do that so essentially, when you get to this one, you say, okay, was my previous one an open bracket that was this type? Yes, it was. Here it was as well. And then here was as well. And your count of open and close is the same. Okay. And you also, yeah, pretty much. And you also have to make sure that you can't have a closed bracket before an open bracket. So here you have something like this, and as you can see here, this open bracket was not the same as the closed bracket, so this would be false. And so essentially, it's going to be pretty easy to do. The way we're going to do that is we're just going to have a stack of open brackets, and anytime we hit a closed bracket, we're just going to pop from our stack of open brackets, and we're going to make sure they're matching. And then finally, when you're done, you need to make sure the stack is empty. And at any time, if you have a closed bracket, if you try to pop from this stack, so let's say here, we have a stack, let's say we have something like this. So our stack would be these two, right? Let's actually go through this example with a stack. So let's go through this one right here with a stack. So we're going to have a stack, and we are going to go through all of these. So for the first character, it's going to be, and our stack is just going to be an array of characters. So for the first character, we have an open paren, so we're going to pop that onto the stack. Now our second character is this, and we're going to pop from the stack, and we're going to check, is this matching? And yes, it is. It's matching. So we're going to pop from the stack, and we're going to keep going. Then our third character over here is an open paren again, so we're going to push that onto the stack. This is our stack, the whole stack. So then we're going to go over here, and we're going to have a closed, and these need to be matching, and they are. And so then you have the last one, right? So you have this, and you're going to push it onto the stack, and then you're going to have a closed, and you're going to check, is that the same? Yes, it is. And then finally, your stack is empty, which means you have the same number of open and closed parentheses. So whenever you have a closed parenthesis, if your stack is empty, that means you have more closed parentheses than open. So for rules of parentheses, you can't have more closed parentheses than open at any point, right? So if you had two closed, you can't. If you have two open, you can't have three closed. And at the end, they also have to be equal. So something like this would be invalid, even if there's an open at the end. At any point, you have to have more open than closed, or the same. And so that's essentially all we're going to do is we're just going to have a stack, we're going to compare parentheses, and then we're going to check that our stack is empty at the end to make sure that the counts are equal. Okay, so let's code that up. So we're going to have three types of parentheses, and we're going to have a stack. So first we're going to have a stack, and this is going to be a stack of characters. So for our stack of characters, it's going to be an array, right? So we can do stack equals, and it's going to be a type of array of characters. So it's going to be a string array. And that's going to be empty to start off. Okay, and that's all we need there. So now we just do a for loop for every single letter in the string. So we could say for let, and here we could just do a letter. So we could say let paren maybe of s. This paren is going to be type string, and we could say if. So I think what we could use here is we can just have we can either have three ands, right? So we can check if it's this, or this, or we could actually just have it includes. So we'll just do that. We'll just have it includes. So we'll make another variable called opens, and it's going to be a string, and it's going to be of just, this is all the possible open parens. So we're going to have that, and then we can just say if opens dot includes, right? So this will just check if it's in there, that paren. then that means this is an open paren. So if it's an open paren, it's going to be pretty straightforward. So we're going to stack dot push paren. Let's see if we have a problem here. So the left-hand side of a for of cannot use a type annotation. Okay, so I think we have to do... oh, right, so this string of is together. I see the problem. So let's do this. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, so if it's in these open parentheses and open parentheses otherwise, we need to have a few cases here. So we're going to have an else case, and this is going to be if paren equals, and we have to check all these manually. So if paren equals this one, then we have to do a stack.pop. So we're going to do a stack.pop regardless. So we can just say if stack.length, if not stack.length, then that means we don't have anything to pop, so we're going to return here false. Otherwise, we're going to pop from the stack, so we can just say const, like open or something. It's going to be a type string, and it's going to be stack.pop. Okay, there we go. String undefined, type undefined is not open, is declared if it's valid. I think I'm going to have to use it, then it'll be fine, but let's just double check. So if paren is this, then if open does not equal, open does not equal, I guess technically stack can be empty here, but it should be fine. Yeah, because I did check for it, so, but let's see what happens. Okay, so if open does not equal paren, then I think we might be able to have a generic case here, actually. No, we don't, sorry, we don't want to have it paren. We want to have, and this needs to not be open. So if paren is this, if open does not equal, we need to manually, because the open and the close paren are different, so we need the open to be this. Then we could say return false here. And then we pretty much need two more cases like this. So we just need this and this. You don't need an else if. I mean, I guess we could, but it doesn't matter. Else if. I think the characters are only allowed to be these things, but that's okay. Okay, so now we need to check for this one, and we also need to check for this one and this one. So essentially, we're just saying, like, when we pop from the stack, make sure they match. So let's see, string undefined. Yeah, so it's saying it's string or undefined. We can just make it string or undefined. That would be fine too. There we go. So I'll make it string.undefined. Otherwise, I think you can check for. So you could also do that. So you could say like, if, let's see, stack. Actually, no, let's not do that. Yeah, let's just go back to what it was. Okay, I think this is fine. Okay, so essentially this is what we're doing. We're just checking for the close paren to make sure they match. And then if they ever don't match, we can just return. Otherwise, we just need to check. So we can return, this is going to be stack.length equals 0, right? So our stack should be empty. And if our stack is empty, then we're fine. Let's see, function lack, and return statement. I think we put this in the wrong place. Yeah, we did. So this needs to be down here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward question. You just literally push your parentheses onto a stack and you return. And we're trying to have all our types correct here. Okay. Yeah, and this is fine. I guess else. So I guess let's say it is undefined somehow. I guess we can just return false. That would also be fine. Because if it doesn't match any of these, we might as well have that in there. Okay. Just in case. So let's test this now. So we can just say console log is valid, and let's just try like some sequence of parens. So we can just have like this. So we could try that one. We can copy a few of these. Okay. So we can have that one. We can have something like this. This. Then we can have some invalid ones. So like open, close, something like that. So that should be invalid, and then we can also have like a close paren first maybe to test. So something like this. Okay, and then we can run Quokka here. Okay, so we got what we wanted. All makes sense. So I think we're good. So now let's just copy this function into elite code. Let's copy it in here, and let's see what happens. Okay, accepted. Yeah, I mean, it's an easy question, so it's not too hard, and you can see it's quite efficient. So that's pretty much it. You just need a stack, and you need to check your parentheses and check that your stack is empty at the end. So let's think about the time and space here. Classic Python. Okay, so the time is going to be, so we're going through our string, so that's O of n, and we're also popping from the stack, but that's fine. And then the space is going to be O of n because half of your parens will be open parens. So worst case scenario, this is like O of n over 2 if you have just all open parens. So if you have something like this, you know, you would have n over 2, which rounds to O of n. Yeah, so as usual, I'm going to upload this problem to the GitHub, and I will link that. And that's going to be it for this one. So hopefully you liked it. And if you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.